Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
This is going to be more of a ramble and less of news. Kind of a little bit of theory craft mix in as well. Okay, so in a video that we did recently, we kind of described Luthen Rael, and I called him a villain, or a possible villain for the series, which got some discussions going on our Discord, which were very interesting. People arguing both for and against my theory and calling him a villain, and what they think could happen to him in the series that could make him such.
Well, I think he's kind of a villain in a way. He's that necessary evil is kind of what I think I called him in that video.
I feel like he embodies the quote from The Dark Knight, said by Harvey Dent, that you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I think this encompasses the Luthen Rael we're going to see. Well, part of this comes from some theories of mine that I have going into the show. But I do think currently we see him as a hero. We started out that way. He's fighting the Empire. He's rallying up the people, but he's doing it in a way that could easily see him turn into a villain.
I think he already is in a way, though. He's already willing to do things that are very, very sketchy.
Right.
To say the least. He's willing to sacrifice good people for a greater cause, which sometimes that is, again, a necessary evil when it comes to war or survival sometimes, simply.
I hear what you're saying, but in some ways I like to draw a parallel to Thanos, who thought he was in the right. He thought he was doing the things that are going to save the universe. I will sacrifice half the universe to give the rest of the universe more time, essentially, or just to survive. And he saw what he was doing as a necessary evil. Of course, he saw what he was doing as right. The rest of the universe saw what he was doing as horrible and wrong. But he didn't pick and choose people. He let it be completely random.
Yeah, I think that's, if you're going to kill half the universe, I guess that's fair.
In a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have easily snapped and gotten rid of all the Avengers. Instead, he was like, no, random. Half of you are still around, I guess.
I like that you're comparing Luthen and Thanos now. We've gone off the rails.
These are moving into Naboo theories. This is what happens. This is the process.
When Naboo's brain works. Yeah.
Okay.
Cranks out crazy theories.
Now let's move deeper into the theory here and why I start to think he really will become a true villain by the end of this series.
I think I'm going to agree with you already. I think by the end of the series, he's pretty lost, completely lost, to the point where, I mean, I think he's already there.
Well,
we just haven't. Yeah. He hasn't had the chance to really demonstrate how lost he is. I think that speech really told us he's willing to do anything and everything
because
to defeat the Empire.
Because he doesn't have anything left because everything was taken from him by something.
I think he's to the point where nothing else matters as long as the Empire exists. Like, you can have happiness in doses, but you can never have full happiness because the Empire is there. So we must get rid of the Empire, if that makes sense.
And of course, we will get his backstory this season, so we'll find out what drove him to this, which I'm very interested in.
Something the Empire did screwed him over, or took something from him, or took a loved one from him.
Family.
Or maybe not. Maybe he just hates them. I mean, wouldn't that be more interesting than the classic, like, oh, my wife was killed by a stormtrooper.
It would be, but it's just the payoff wouldn't feel the same to be like, I sacrificed everything. Like, did you? You didn't have anything.
I almost want it to be something petty, in a manner of speaking. Something small where it just ignited this spark that grew into an inferno to destroy the Empire, if that makes sense. Not that it was like this drastic, like, they took everything from me. Maybe there was some rare artifact he had in his shop that was labeled contraband, and they took it, and that was like, that's it. Screw these guys.
Or with his deep knowledge of history, he was studying some tribe or something. That maybe the tribe that gave him the Sky Kyber, maybe the Empire destroyed them.
Maybe he...
to take more of the Kyber, or to mine that.
Maybe it's kind of meta, where he understands what Star Wars is, that it is a constant cycle of war and battle, and this is... He realizes he's in one of those cycles where it's war, and he wants to bring peace back again, if that makes sense.
All right, but let's move into the deeper parts of my theory.
Okay, I thought we were pretty deep.
We are pretty deep, but we can go deeper. All right, so my theory revolves around the Gorman massacre. We know it's going to be a big point of Season 2. It's supposed to stretch over 2 arcs, meaning there's going to be a lead up into consequences and what exactly happens and all that. My theory is Luthen, he puts Cassian on a team to, let's say, help the Gormans, to be there to stand up for the Empire, because he saw how it worked on Ferrix, right? Yeah. He saw the people stand up, and he wants Cassian to be on the ground, to be one of those people who's like, yes, you will stand up, you can lead, I want you to be a leader. You know, we heard that in the trailer.
To be a spark, too.
I want you to be a spark, I want you to be a leader, so when the Empire goes too far with the Gormans, you're going to be one of those people who rises up and leads the rest of the people into a rebellion, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is what Luthen sends Cassian there to do. He's there to stand up with the Gormans to help them fight the Empire when they try something. It's going to be a very watched political moment in the galaxy. We know Mon Mothma's been talking about it since season 1.
Yeah.
So I think Luthen also sends Saw's partisan group there. I think they are the no Russian group. The group that is posing as Imperials that are starting the massacre, then Cassian's job is to whip the people up.
Yeah.
We have one group disguised as Imperials who they start the panic, they start the firing, they start it, and then they're probably supposed to leave. And then the regular Imperials would take over the fight, so to speak.
So do you think what happens is Luthen wants to recreate Ferrix? And on Ferrix, as far as we know, it doesn't go completely sideways for the good guys, right? Like Ferrix isn't wiped off the face of the map or planet or galaxy, whatever you want to put it. What if in this case he's trying to recreate that? He's trying to get some people to rise up, and maybe it is him having his partisans or Saw's partisans disguised as stormtroopers. It could be that. Certainly could be that.
Right.
And then the people rise up and fight back, and the Empire just completely crushes them. Like,
I think that's what happens.
Obliterates all these people, and all of a sudden it's like, oops, that wasn't what I wanted to see. I didn't want to show people rising up and immediately heal, getting stomped down upon them and ending the rebellion. They kind of would have the opposite effect in a manner of speaking, because you're going to scare people like, well, if we try anything, we immediately get just destroyed.
Which I think is more than he intended. I think he doesn't intend for the Empire to go that far. He wants to show a rebellion. He wants to show, here's the Empire doing wrong. Here are the people rising up. I think that's what he intends. I think it goes too far, because I think the Imperials, after things like Ferrix, and we know this is years down the line, that they're getting more and more used to squashing these rebellions, that they have to put out these fires before they can really ignite. I think Cassian finds out what this plan was. I think either one of Saw's group members get killed, Cassian knows him, or recognizes somebody. I think Cassian figures it out. I think
that could be interesting, yeah.
This is where a lot of his guilt might come from. To know he was a part of the Gorman massacre, to know that part of what he did by helping these people stand up, murdered and killed them all.
Yeah.
So this could be a big portion of his guilt.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to die. And I mean, a lot of people. Everybody who stands back up or stands up, and it's the fire that burns bright. That Luthen was talking about in the trailer. Yeah,
I think this could also be the event that drives Saw to leave the formal rebellion and strike on his own. He's too extreme now, because look what he did. Yeah. Because he's going to catch the brunt of this blame.
Yeah, I think he's going to get blamed for it.
I think this is why Cassian might never want to work with Luthen again. This could be the fire that, this event, this Gorman massacre, is going to be that fire that really starts the rebellion. And the event is going to move Mon. I think this event is what moves Mon to act within the Senate. So this is the thing that Luthen needed to get everything rolling, but this turns him into a villain because he sacrificed all those people, and he had to know in the back of his mind that this was a contingency. Just like
he probably wants it to happen though, because I think, like I said before, I think if it goes too far, you almost scare people into fighting back. But if it does go too far at the same time, you're going to have those people who realize that we have no freedom anymore.
Right.
We are completely controlled.
Yeah, he had no problem sacrificing Anto Krieger's group.
Yeah.
So he has no problem sacrificing Saw's group, or even Cassian's group, or even those Gorman people, to try and achieve the ends he wants. And without his humanity anymore, he gave that up. He gave up his soul and his humanity. There's no cost too great for him now. But the suffering of the innocent is going to polarize the audience, as it should.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the villain, but he's still going to be well beloved within the series because we understand him.
Well, he's a character.
And that's what's important.
We get he's a character, and it's like we love Darth Vader, even though we know he's a villain who's killed children and done a lot of really bad things. We love the character Darth Vader, not what he represents or stands for in the Star Wars galaxy itself, if you will.
It goes back to that Thanos comparison. We all loved Thanos. Why? Not because he was the villain, but because he was a real character.
Yeah.
We understood his motivations. We understood why he did the things he did. He was well thought out, well planned, and Luthen is him to the 10th degree.
No, I agree. I mean, I don't know that I agree that Luthen is like
well, I'm saying he's very well planned out and such.
Yeah, I get your comparison.
I'm saying he's a great character.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But he's going to do things that are absolutely unforgivable.
Do you think Cassian kills... I don't remember if we theorized on here, or that was like a voice chat. We were discussing if
Cassian might be the one who kills Luthen? I don't know. Maybe?
I think he does.
Oh, it could be. See, now you're digging my hole even deeper.
Yeah. I think
I'm subterranean at this point.
Yeah, I know it. But no, my prediction, I think Cassian kills Luthen. That's what happens to him. He realizes he's gone too far, that there is a price that is too high to be paid for defeating the Empire.
Mm-hmm. And that's why he gets redeemed in Rogue One, why him and others who may have gone wrong, like Melchi, others that may have been on this mission with him, want redemption for the things that they've done. And they get it.
Yeah, they do. All right, well, that is going to be all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn. Take to the comments below and tell us what you think about Luthen. Is he going to go way too far this season and become sort of a villain? And do you think Cassian kills him? Whatever the case may be, leave your comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.